Our next Talk for Writing Tango taster looks at line-by-line comprehension of a text. With the sheep and the goats, it can be narrative or it can be textual ideas that we're looking at here. I'm going to be looking at a bit of both, specifically synonyms and alliteration primarily. To do that, the parts that Pi Colbert recommend in the resources are to identify things along the lines of the forest, what makes it sound scary, whether it's deep, dark, that's part of the alliteration, how far away was it, and so forth. Please do consider doing stuff like that to get to the bottom of the kid's understanding, but for the sake of a quick video, I'm just going to look at the alliteration and the synonyms, as we said. To do that, I create a new page, go to a white background, and rather than bringing stuff into this page in advance of the session, what I'm going to do is minimise it and go to a PDF that I have from the website itself. I have the Tango sidebar active, so it means that if I were to just select a pen, I'm able to highlight certain words and press X to get rid of them. I can underline certain words with dotted lines by pressing the pen underneath it, and similarly press X to get rid of it. But what I'm going to do to sort of show a bit of differentiation across the work is to highlight a pen, choose a different colour such as pink, and then look at these two specific passages. I want to look at the deep, dark forest. I want to consider how they walked and walked and walked, so the repetition as well as the alliteration in that respect. I want to be able to identify that by saying that this is alliteration in pink. And once I've got that part done, I can snap. By snapping it, it brings it back into the Tango workspace ready for later. Now that's going to be a reflective part of the session and not something the kids are going to be actively involved in at the beginning of it. So I'm going to go back to the page and then continue to do other stuff. So if I'm considering, for instance, if I go to a yellow so you can see it as well, this. So one day the sheep said, "Let us go and build a house." Well, what do we mean by build? And if the kids are quite able, they might be able to say things such as, it's a synonym for to create. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that, bring that out there, and let's start writing some stuff. It could be create. What other words could link to build? It could be make, if it's more basic. It could be assemble, if you really wanted to push the boat out. And by creating lots of the different types of words synonyms to go with that, we're hopefully getting them to see that to build means this. And doing this sort of work maybe at the beginning of each of your sessions helps them to prove their understanding. Because at the end of the day, it's all about really comprehension and proving that comprehension. It's all well and good saying, I understand, but how do we know that someone understands? So snapping things like this, bringing it back into Tango, allows us to have ways to revisit and ways to help us re-explain later on. So if a learner and a group of learners have been able to do something like this, we want to be able to store that, like I said, so that they can go and reflect on it. I like to use the PDF function under Pages because it effectively just takes everything on the page and just dumps it into a PDF file on the desktop that you're using. That means that you can just quickly refer back to it if someone's questioning what the learners need, for example, what they've achieved. If it's more specific, you want to have exactly that image, press and hold and export on each of the images and it will create a photo image onto the desktop as well, which you can then collate into any format you like. Sticking it into a shared drive can help, but if you're using your own softwares, by all means anything that would be able to be compatible with that, JPEGs, PNGs and so on. So yeah, relatively simple, all about reflection. Hope it's been of use. See you soon.